check out what we found out over here. You're never gonna believe this. All right, so we came out here to repair a little small sinkhole, and we weren't sure what was causing it. We're about 10 foot deep there, because that's about as deep as the mini will reach, which has a 13-foot reach, and still into a bunch of trash. So what happened is someone dug a big hole here, buried a bunch of waste, logs, stumps, and stuff, and then put dirt over top of it and put their driveway in here. We'll just keep digging so we don't find any more trash. Bring some good dirt in here and compact it, and then put new gravel over this whole driveway. Driveway job complete. 8 loads of dirt and trash out, 8 loads in, compacted back to this driveway. 2 loads of 3/4 stone, a little bit of seed and straw. He's looking like new money. We're here to be a long time. Catch y'all on the next one. Zip it up and zip it out.
It's a nice spot, man.
Look at that boulder.
Yeah, it's insane. It's a gnarly site, isn't it, man?
It's gnarly. Far side of this meadow, you'll see that's where the chairlift used to come up, and there's a T. This property is we're on the top of the.
Yeah, I looked it up on the GIS earlier.
And then the overall vision of the whole thing is a multi-phase project, hopefully using some of the revenue from the early phases to fund some of the later stuff.
Right.
The far end of the meadow will be some geodesic domes.
Okay.
That look out at the view. Event space. So you imagine weddings
like
of
a wedding.
100, 150 people with an indoor-outdoor kind of tent, glamping kind of vibe. Getting married with the view behind them. Over here on the right is parking for approximately 20 cars.
Okay.
Parked diagonal.
Yep.
Over here, the original vision was to have 2 domes. I haven't quite figured out exactly what to do in this spot, because this is like prime
for sure
real estate.
For sure.
With just directly across from Chimney Rock. The event space is kind of like phase 2, phase 3.
Right.
Just some initial domes. Phase 1, and then we're talking to a couple treehouse builders that love the space.
Yep.
The most important part of everything that we're doing is this entire meadow.
Maximizing this.
This thing's been here 50 years.
Yeah.
Since it was the ghost town in the 70s.
What are you doing about septic?
The soil scientist has identified a few spots that are uphill. It's just a matter of pumping the poop.
Which is fine. I mean, they make pumps nowadays.
The shit out of me.
Everyone gets scared of them, but they make pump systems nowadays that are so reliable, man, that you never got to work on them.
You know, we're looking at potentially 5 units up there on the far side of the meadow. Up to 2 or so here.
If that's where you're going to start with the glamping stuff, why don't we stabilize that and then just keep moving our way this way as you build it out?
That's the most stable part of the cliff.
Cool. If that's the case, maybe you might not need to do anything with any of this until you are ready to do your venue stuff out here.
Let's show you how far down do you reinforce? Where do you start? Where is it necessary? I don't have the expertise to know that kind of thing.
Do you like the natural flow of it, or would you want it to be squared off if money was not an object?
I'd love for the front edge to be straight all the way and maximize how much space we have this direction.
I gotcha. To stabilize, just to kind of firm up what you got and to follow a natural flow, it's nowhere near what we were originally looking at, you know what I mean? Just to kind of come in here and get back down to virgin, and then, we could even use boulder retaining wall, you know what I mean? All natural stone. So it looks natural, it's cheaper, instead of doing all that craziness that we were talking about. But all that does is just preserves what's here. It doesn't maximize anything. It doesn't get you built out any further.
I don't need more. I just don't want less.
Right.
So let's walk further down.
Have you seen the scene from Last of the Mohicans that was shot right?
Yeah.
The 5 most difficult climbs in all of North Carolina are on this face.
What do you need from me? Looks like you got it under control, man.
Looking at stabilizing that, that's the main thing to wrap my brain around right now. See the height of some of these drops.
Yeah, it's a lot. And you got to dig deeper, to get down to something solid on those before you even start rebuilding. Yeah, I think on something like that, you just use boulders, restack a boulder wall there, tied into what's there now. Come on back into this a good ways with the wall, and then just backfill with 3/4 gravel so it's got plenty of drainage, even with pitching this all back. You can just do little sections like that, and tie into it in the future if you want to push out or get all the way out there. But if you're looking at, well, that's my furthest point and I want to square that off, 4 feet you're building out down there, that's where that astronomical number that you got, on that's where you're gonna get into that. I just look at doing some stabilization. You know, turn your water out, make sure that drain's clear all the way down. Try to turn as much of that water in there as you can. Maybe even put a couple French drains in here to collect and turn into that.
Let's say, for example, you were going to stabilize this section right here. How do you get there?
The whole front slope, you need to get that back down to something that's solid. And then I'd probably try to source a bunch of boulders on site here.
How do you even get down there with a machine?
Just cut a bench in right here with the excavator. That's nothing. We can get down there with a big machine easy.
That's nothing. To me.
Yeah, you just gotta, you know, you start back in here, you know, and you cut off of this and pile it, and you just cut a road in to walk a machine down in there. We walk off this stuff all the time with equipment. Just throw material down to the guy down there with the excavator and start stacking up.
I hadn't quite envisioned how to protect this front edge from people walking off.
Yeah.
I just take some of those trees and lay them down, or berm this front edge up a little bit.
The berm I would advise regardless, so water's not just.
Yeah. So which spots would you think need reinforcement predominantly?
Some of this is starting to cut back in. So this whole outer edge is, that don't scare me so much because there's vegetation on it. You know, obviously that's a mature tree. It's holding pretty good, but like there were mature trees here. You know, that was a standing tree just a couple months ago because it's still got foliage on it, you know, that locust right there. So this whole section has washed. Anywhere like that looks like, oh shit, this probably washed not too long ago.
Well, let me know what that's going to cost me.
All right. I mean, something like this, you're 200 grand just to stabilize this section. This is also one of your steepest points, the tallest points. You know, over there was a lot shorter, here was a lot shorter. This is, yeah, those are 15, 20 feet. This is freaking 50, 60 feet down to there, up here, which that's where you need to start at.
Yeah, if you want to get at me on what you think on reinforcing those in different spots, maybe separate them by space.
Okay.
Because depending on the cost and the likelihood of slide or the usability of that area, it may be like, okay, I want to do this one, but not the other one, or something like that.
For sure. All right, well, I'll work up some numbers on sections here that need stabilization, and I'll kind of put them in priority of what's sliding worse, what's washed worse. That would be the number one spot to stabilize over there, and then that one a little further up there, and then back here would be number 3.
We can do boulders, whatever is the least cost, least invasive, but will serve its purpose.
Last longer, yeah.
No one up here is seeing that edge.
Right.
No one from down in town is seeing that edge. It's literally invisible to anyone. So I don't care what that edge looks like, as long as it's functional and holds up.
Right. Yeah, you can use a waste block, you know, just a big concrete waste block, and you know, you're not looking at it, so it doesn't matter, and they stack fast. Yeah. Stacking boulders takes a little bit of artistry.
All right.
All right.
Good?
I'm
Good, thank you.
Sweet, no problem, man. Anytime.
We'll be in touch. And
I'll send you something over in a day or so on that. Need some help on anything else, let me know.
Task of the day, I get this roof system off without knocking this block down. And that may seem like an easy task, but let me just show you how about of shape this stuff is. See that daylight through those blocks. This whole corner's busted all in. See that daylight. I'm gonna take these doors down, start from the outside, start picking that whole front off, and come in here, start just crunching this with the excavator, picking it up, putting it in the dump truck, hauling it to the landfill. The roof's down, but some of the wall is too. All right guys, it's been a long week. We've got a ton of stuff done. This demo job is complete, and the neighbor actually had us demo a building over here as well. If you remember when we started this, we were just planning on taking the roof off and leaving the block walls, but the block walls were in such bad shape, they all had to come down too because they were a liability. The entire wall here, you could just push on it with your hand and the whole wall would move. The blocks, you could just pick them off one by one because the mortar was so wet rotted. This is where another building was at. We took it all down, cleaned it all up. We tried to do a really good job cleaning up because anyone can tear a building down, but not everyone cares to do a really good cleanup job. We left all the metal for them. They said someone was going to come and get that. But this building down was tore down because the roof was falling in, and they have folks that come in here and try to sleep at night. The homeless is getting to be a really bad problem around here for some reason, and he was worried about the roof falling in on them. We were out here and we heard some commotion the other day. Check out what we found out over here. You're never going to believe this. We got to be careful. It's an El Chapo style homeless camp. They've dug a tunnel back into the bank. Now it's hard to see right now because it's getting dark. So check this shit out. Dug up in there, dug a little cove over there, put some mattresses, blankets, pillows, built this boards up. These boards were across, so it had a roof. Pretty freaking crazy. They're walking up these railroad tracks, living in here, going up there at night. But look at this, there's a freaking huge drainage pipe right here. This water's dumping right off this hill into there. Let's see if I can get out of here without ending up down in that hole. You know, that's a lot of freaking hard work. And if these folks would just get up and work that hard during the day, they'd make a pretty decent living. It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, job's wrapped up. On to the next one. We got a big house demo next week. House burnt down. We're gonna tear down the rest of the house, clean it all up, and do the rest of the site work because they're gonna put a modular in place there. So y'all watch for that video coming up. Appreciate y'all checking all of our stuff out. Catch you on the next one.